Welcome everybody to Nancy Drew, Last Train at Blue Moon Canyon. This is the 13th game from 2005.
Welcome to my latest case, Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. To start, choose Junior or Senior Detective. If you're new to adventure games or need some help, click on Tutorial.
I'm a junior detective girl.
Dear Hannah, here I am at the railroad station along with a handful of other detectives about to board a train bound for who knows where. The only person who knows where we're going is Lori Gerard. That's the young woman who invited everyone. Actually, she didn't really invite me. She invited Frank and Joe Hardy, and they invited me. And I've always wanted to join forces with the Hardy boys. I just hope this doesn't turn out to be another one of Lori's silly attempts to grab publicity. Some people can be a little too rich and a little too famous for their own good. Wish me luck. Love, Nancy.
Well, people, now that our little orientation tour is over, let's get started. Okay, I, again, am Lori Gerard, and the first thing I want to do is thank you all for coming. John Gray, I am so thrilled that you're taking time out from that TV show of yours to do some ghost hunting here with us. I mean, Ghost Chasers is like the best cable show ever. And Charlene Purcell, I cannot tell you how much I adore those romance novels you write. Your characters just seem so real. And all that stuff you know about the Old West, you are just awesome. And Tino Balducci, only the most famous police detective in the country. And then there's Frank and Joe Hardy. They're amateur detectives. My dad and their dad are old friends. And you must be the other amateur detective, their friend, Natalie?
Nancy Drew?
Whatever. All right, I'll bet you're wondering where we're going. Well, we're going to Copper Gorge, Colorado. Why? To solve the mystery of what happened to Jake Hurley, the man who originally owned this train. Because see, one day in 1903, this train was found in a place called Blue Moon Canyon, which was out in the middle of the Nevada desert. Only the engineer was on board, and he was dead. As for Jake Hurley, he had disappeared from the face of the earth. Oh, and two more things. Before he disappeared, Jake was rumored to have found the richest gold mine in the world. And the train he owned, this train, his wife Camille died on it while they were going to the gold fields. It was rumored to be haunted.
She's gone.
Oh my gosh.
What in the world?
Hey, what's going on?
People should never go tampering with things they don't understand.
Oh, brother.
It's okay. Everybody just stay calm. No need to panic. I'll get to the bottom of this.
Well, Nancy, you're up on all that social etiquette stuff. What are you supposed to do when your hostess vanishes into thin air?
I have no idea.
If I don't seem concerned, it's because I'm not. Lori Gerard is a young woman whose only goal in life is to be famous. She craves attention and habitually uses her father's considerable wealth to get it.
So you think her disappearing like that is just some kind of publicity stunt?
So you think her disappearing like that is just some kind of publicity stunt?
I just think she couldn't resist showing off in front of all of us minor celebrities. What was your name again?
Nancy Drew. You and I have actually met. Sort of. I called you not too long ago when I was at Shadow Ranch. You gave me some information about Dirk Valentine.
Ah, Nancy Drew.
You remember me?
You remember me?
No.
What else do you know about Jake Hurley?
What else do you know about Jake Hurley?
Psst, Nancy! Come here!
Excuse me for a second.
Okay. Let's look at this first.
Is this Jake and his wife?
Yes. From what I've read, Camille loved to sing and dance, even in death, apparently. Jake reportedly told people that after she died, he would sometimes see strange glowing lights outside the windows at night, bobbing gracefully alongside the train as if dancing with it. He said he found the sight very comforting. I suspect normal people would have found it terrifying.
Okay, let's talk to them. Frank and Joe Hardy.
Hey, Nance.
Hardy boys.
Where have you two been?
I followed Tino Balducci.
And I went after John Gray. He went straight to the room in the car that used to be Camille's and didn't come out again. I could hear all these weird noises coming from inside.
Did you talk to him?
Did you talk to him?
I was just about to go in, but the next thing I know, Joe's got my arm in a vice grip and is dragging me back here, babbling about how Balducci's our guy.
He found something on the floor right where Lori was standing when the train went dark. I saw him pick it up and put it in his pocket. Then he left.
Did you see what it was?
Did you see what it was?
When I tried to talk to him, he just kind of brushed me aside and said something snotty like, "I'm on the job here, Junior, so just go back to the playground and stay out of the way." In case you two hadn't noticed, we're not getting a lot of respect around here. Can't we at least tell Balducci that we do stuff for ATAC?
You know the rules.
ATAC?
American Teens Against Crime. We do a lot of undercover work for them.
Wonder Cop's probably never even been undercover.
Joe, let it go. What'd Charlene have to say?
She thinks Lori is faking this whole disappearance thing.
She's not the only one.
How can you say that? You heard Lori scream.
Anybody can scream, Joe. Especially girls whose fathers have given them acting lessons along with everything else they've ever wanted.
What about you, Nancy? What do you think?
I kind of agree with Frank.
You've got to be kidding.
Do you think maybe one of Lori's other guests is in on her disappearance?
Do you think maybe one of Lori's other guests is in on her disappearance?
It's certainly possible.
From the way she talked, it didn't sound like she knew any of them.
Maybe that's what she wanted us to think.
Or maybe that's what one of them wanted her to think.
Well, whether Lori disappeared by force or by choice, what we've got to do now is find her.
Absolutely.
Has anybody talked to the engineer?
Has anyone talked to the engineer?
Not that I know of.
Then I'm going to head up front and tell him what's happened. Maybe he knows something we don't.
Good idea. In the meantime, we'll take another look around in here.
Great. Catch you later.
Engineer, what do you want?
Hello, I'm one of the passengers, and I just thought you should know that Lori Gerard has disappeared.
So?
I just thought you might want to call the police or something.
I just thought you might want to call the
Yes.
police or something.
Hey, all I know is I take orders from Miss Gerard, okay? Right now my orders are to get this train to Copper Gorge non-stop. And until Miss Gerard tells me otherwise, that's what I'm gonna do.
But Lori may not even be on the train anymore.
But Lori may not even be on the train anymore.
Look, Miss Gerard may not be a rocket scientist or anything, but even she knows better than to jump off a moving train.
But
Now, if you'll excuse me, I got me a train to run.
Okay, what's the end of that? Let's see what this
a
is.
square and a duck.
That's a hint for something. You can't
This
go.
door goes outside. Opening it now would not be a good idea. Looks like some sort of steam valve.
Warning, do not open unless all pipes are connected. Yeah, no, there's that. Right now. Flippy fins, freshly canned salmon, fresh from a hand from the deep, wholesome, satisfying jam. Okay.
It looks like there's something behind this painting, but I can't seem to move it. Sadie Crawford.
This is Sadie Crawford. They're a large size. Okay, let's go back and talk to Charlene.
Yes?
What are you working on?
What are you working on?
I'm writing my next book. I'm on a deadline, so until I write those two most wonderful of all three-letter words, the end, everywhere I go, my laptop goes, and every chance I get, I write.
What else do you know about Jake Hurley? You know, the man who originally owned this train?
What else do you know about Jake Hurley? You know, the man who originally owned this train?
Wealthy, imaginative, adventurous, stubborn, egocentric, and most importantly, he was smitten at the age of 35 by a young French woman named Camille Voulet, who died about a year after they were married.
Where was he from?
Where was he from?
East Coast, Philadelphia, I think. His parents were British aristocrats. Sometime in the 1870s, he decided to seek his fortune out west, so he had this train custom built so that he, and some years later his wife, could traverse the mountains and plains in relative comfort.
So I went west and became a miner?
So he went west and became a miner?
All anyone knows for sure is that years after Camille's death, he showed up in Denver with a pouch full of gold nuggets and semi-precious stones, which he used to purchase mining supplies. He refused to say how he'd come by them, which of course led to speculation that he had found a fantastically rich vein somewhere. Although to this day, its existence remains unsubstantiated, and its location quite unknown.
Why do you think Lori invited you on this trip?
Why do you think Lori invited you on this trip?
No doubt because I'm such an authority on life in the Old West, and because I'm so good at using old information to unearth new information. My knack for research is, well, it's a gift.
I should get going.
I should get going.
All right then.
Okay. I'm actually gonna call my friend Bess.
Hello?
Hi, Bess.
George, get over here. It's Nancy. It's about time you called.
What's up?
What's up? You're the one who's on the train with a bunch of famous people. You tell us. This is torture, Nancy. I'm dying of curiosity here. Bess, just calm down. Oh, like you're not just as curious as I am. She's been begging me to call you ever since she got here. Only because you've been driving me crazy. I'm supposed to be helping her paint her room, but every other brushstroke, she's like, where do you think she is now? How do you think the Hardy Boys are doing? Why do you think she hasn't called? What do you think Lori Gerard is wearing? Oh, George, that is so not true. I could care less what Lori Gerard is wearing. So come on, Nancy. You're on a train full of famous people bound for who knows where. So dish already, would ya? Bess, calm down. Look what you did. You got paint in my hair. I'm sorry. You know, actually, that looks kind of cool. Nice try, Bess. No, really. You're just saying that because you're afraid I'll bail and you'll wind up having to paint this dump all by yourself. George, I kid you not. You should seriously think about doing some major highlights in that color.
What color is it?
Adobe beige.
Nice try, Bess.
What's going on, Nan?
Our hostess has disappeared.
Our hostess has disappeared.
What do you mean, disappeared?
I mean, the train went into a tunnel, everything went dark, and when the train came out of the tunnel, no Lori. She just disappeared.
Publicity stunt.
My thoughts exactly.
My thoughts exactly.
Remember the time she was allegedly kidnapped from her Vegas hotel room? Yeah, the guy across the hall just happened to have a camera and got it all on tape. It made the evening news in practically every city in the country. And then there was her daring escape the next morning. Only it turns out she faked the whole thing. Of course, she claims her ex-boyfriend faked it to get back at her. She thought she was really being kidnapped. Like anybody believes that.
Sounds to me like somebody has been spending a lot of time reading the tabloids.
George has. Very funny. So what else is going on?
Before she disappeared, Lori told us that the purpose of this train trip is to find out what happened to Jake Curley, the train's original owner.
Before she disappeared, Lori told us that the purpose of this train trip is to find out what happened to Jake Hurley, the train's original owner.
Was he murdered or something?
No one knows. He was married to a woman named Camille, but she died, and he eventually vanished while mining for gold. His train was found abandoned in Blue Moon Canyon, Nevada, with no one on board but his dead engineer.
Whoa, spooky. Have any theories?
Not yet, but the train is also rumored to be haunted by his dead wife.
Not yet, but the train is also rumored to be haunted by his dead wife.
So first Hurley's wife dies, then Hurley vanishes, then the engineer dies, then Lori vanishes. A pattern, maybe? Bess, do us all a favor and leave the detective work to Nancy, okay?
Have either of you been to Copper Gorge, Colorado?
Has either of you been to Copper Gorge, Colorado?
Never heard of the place. Why?
Well, that's where the train I'm on is headed. Apparently Jake Hurley buried his wife Camille there after she died on the train.
She died on the train? Ew, creepy.
Jake used to see several strange lights at night bobbing alongside the train and thought it was Camille dancing.
Jake used to see strange lights at night bobbing alongside the train and thought it was Camille dancing.
Super creepy. Yeah, I just got goosebumps. Which is hard when you're practically covered in paint.
Catch you later.
Catch you later.
We'll be right here. Yeah, washing the paint out of our hair.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so we have this, like, thing we have to get out.
Pretty. Looks like some kind of gemstone.
I believe we have to get it out of there, I'm not sure. don't want to press this, but the submerged brake release engage. This is one of those. Easy. Oh, we can rotate, right? I mean, I think we can rotate it, right? Right click to rotate. The right button's not. Yeah, the right mouse button's not working. It's weird. Is it not working? Weird. The mouse button isn't working. That's a little upsetting. I can't get the right mouse button to click. Oh my god. Okay, I figured it out. You have to move it. You have to pick it up to do it. I gotta figure that out. That part's right.
Left pickaxe and lamp with buhl for safekeeping. To open what's closed, lead is the key. Or is it lead is the key? This must have been the sleeping car.
Yeah. Here's a little poem. The Tale of Two Dolls. Ill-tempered Edna could not get her way. She couldn't get Alice to come out and play. I can't, I'm too tired, is what Alice said. I just want to go straight back to bed. Edna angrily tried to make herself heard, but all that came out was one two-part word. Why, I'm not your mother, yawning Alice replied. Till Edna the Terrible finally gave up and cried. There's this little code.
I need 4 numbers to unlock this, and there's, what, 10,000 possible combinations? Guessing could take me a while.
Okay, we're gonna go to the next card. let's go here. This one's a cool room. This is where he's doing this ghost thing. This is John Gray.
Hi, you're that Nancy person. How you doing? John Gray.
You look pretty busy.
You look pretty busy.
Right now I'm taking time-lapse electromagnetic readings and recording background noise. This was Camille's private car. If she had something to do with Lori's disappearance, analyzing these readings may give me a clue as to Lori's whereabouts.
Are you saying that Camille's ghost kidnapped Lori?
Are you saying that Camille's ghost kidnapped Lori?
What to most people are ghosts are actually temporary distortions in local electromagnetic fields caused by the presence of residual psychic energy generated by the person or persons who frequented that particular locale. That's my working theory, at least.
That's very interesting.
That's very interesting.
It's all very scientific. But the fact is, Lori's missing, and I, for one, am doing everything in my power to find her. The vibes I'm getting make me think she could be in serious trouble.
Charlene Purcell thinks Lori is just playing some kind of joke on us.
Charlene Purcell thinks Lori is just playing some kind of joke on us.
Charlene Purcell writes romance novels. End of comment.
What do you think of Tino Balducci?
What do you think of Tino Balducci?
I kind of feel sorry for the guy. After catching those bank robbers, he can't just be a good cop anymore. He's got to be a great cop. Tough to perform under that kind of pressure.
Is Lori a friend of yours?
Is Lori a friend of yours?
First time I met her was when I boarded this train with all the rest of you. I knew her by reputation, of course, like everyone else who reads the tabloids. It doesn't appear that anyone aboard this train is her friend.
Maybe she planned it that way.
Maybe she planned it that way.
You mean so we'd concentrate all our efforts on finding Jake Hurley? Possible, although she really doesn't strike me as being the planning type.
I'll let you get back to work.
I'll let you get back to work.
Take care.
Let's look at this yellow couch. We got a 7 slug
The Little Book of Samplers.
by Bernice Adlamere. Surely there is no greater joy for the 19th century woman, young or old, than to bring a piece of linen alive from needlepoint, requiring only needle thread, care, and imagination. The word sampler comes from the Latin word exemplum, which means example, which serves as a model. The best samplers not only allow their creators to recall what particular embroidery stitches look like when executed properly, but also demonstrate to the world their mastery of an important womanly skill. Indeed, many a gentleman's head has been turned, and many a marriage fortified by a well-crafted sampler. It is acceptable in these modern times for samplers to take many forms. One classic is the long and narrow band sampler, which features bands of flowery embroidery designs as well as rows of numbers and the alphabet. Another classic is the spot sampler, a delightful display of randomly placed images or motifs. Example of a spot sampler. Most motifs are naturalistic objects that have specific meanings in the language of samplers. Here's a list of common motifs and their meaning. We got duck, marital fidelity; eagle, America; heart, purity; square, nature; star, bravery; crown, eternity; owl, wisdom; dog, faithfulness; dove, charity; cherry, departed; lion, strength; bell, music; joy; horseshoe, good luck; butterfly, new beginning; shell, good fortune; olive, peace; hourglass, passing of time; ring, union; chairs, domesticity; key, fidelity; bee, hope; apple, love; bow, secret love; rabbit, gentleness; daisy, humility; squirrel, mischief; angel, messenger; cat, idealness; pineapple, hospitality; heart with key, beloved. Nowadays most samplers are colorful variations on the two classic styles and are largely decorative in nature. Houses, schools, and churches take center stage in some. In others, mottos, verses, and important dates are featured. There's an alarming trend among some sampler makers to use only one stitch, the simpler and rather plain cross stitch. It behooves these women to remember that nothing catches the eye like variety, nor holds the heart like a multi-talented seamstress. Okay, that's all.
This looks like some sort of game. Nothing happens. I'll bet I have to wind it up first.
Okay. So this was a fun little one.
Shoot!
We gotta press the button in time.
Oops. wipe out.
Wipeout is right, Nancy. Oh, we got a timer right. Not too close. I forgot what song this is called.
I did it! Wonder what's in here.
Okay. That was fun. I like that little miniature toy. We have
Teddy
this.
Eberhardt.
Crawlmeister. Thank you for giving the doll we call Teddy Eberhardt a home. Doll works. Where's the doll? Where is the doll? Oh, okay.
Sickly Sarah caught a germ so new, it made one of her pretty green eyes turn blue.
That's what it says. Nice drawing. So if you know how to read music, we can probably do this. But if we do, John,
Don't do that, please! Those microphones I set up over there are very sensitive. You just about took out my eardrums.
Okay,
You can play that thing when I'm done. I'll let you know when that is, all right?
Okay.
Okay. There's that, but wait.
Looks like Camille was teaching herself how to play the piano.
Yeah, C, D, E, F, G, and then it goes to A, B, C. I sometimes forget, and we got these, which I'm not familiar with. I'm not a music major, but my mom was.
Thomasina O'Neill.
I've been told my piano fingers are long.
I wonder what's under here, and what the deal is with those weird-looking bolts.
But I never really.
Looks like some kind of sewing sampler.
figure
I
this
wonder
out.
if there's a relationship between those symbols and those numbers.
Awfulers. We'll have to figure that out.
I need something that will turn the bolts.
Okay. Let's go to the last car. Or. Let's see, is there anything here? It's very. Like, this one's giving.
Hey, Nancy, right?
That's right, Nancy Drew, who just stopped me.
That's right, Nancy Drew.
Amateur detective, huh? Ever thought about becoming a real detective? You know, like me?
You mean become a police detective? No, I never have.
You mean become a police detective? No, I never have.
It's a great job, you know. I love it. You, heard about those bank robberies I solved, right?
Yes, I sure did.
Yes, I sure did.
Baffling case. Two-man team at 17 banks in 3 states in 5 days. FBI had no idea who the perps were. But after forcing their vehicle to a stop, confronting them, despite the fact that they were armed and giving chase, I single-handedly made the collar.
I heard they stopped because you accidentally rear-ended them.
I heard they stopped because you accidentally rear-ended them.
You heard wrong. You see, Nancy, when somebody does something really remarkable in this country, the first thing everybody else does is try to tear them down. Reporters, late-night comedians, even some of my fellow officers, all have been spreading vicious lies about me. Why? Because they've never done anything remarkable in their sorry little lives, and they're jealous. Anyway, you should look around in here. Lots of interesting stuff. This was Jake's private car, you know.
I understand they found some on the floor in the dining car.
I understand that you found something on the floor in the dining car.
Yeah, at first I thought it was an old coin, but it turned out to be some kind of slug.
Where do you think it came from?
Where do you think it came from?
Probably been lying there for 100 years. It may have served a purpose back then, but now, worthless.
May I see it?
May I see it?
Sure, in fact, here, keep it. Wear it around your neck or something. That way, when people ask you where you got it, you can tell them Tino Balducci gave it to you. The Tino Balducci.
Oh, brother.
Oh, thank you.
What else can I do for you?
So what do you think happened to Lori?
So, what do you think happened to Lori?
Well, she could have been kidnapped. She could have been tossed off the train. She could be hiding from us. But I obviously won't know which until I've gathered all the facts.
When do you think that will be?
When do you think that will be?
I'll know the facts when I know the facts. The truth can't be rushed, you know.
True. Have you had a chance to talk to Charlene Purcell?
Have you had a chance to talk to Charlene Purcell?
Now, why would I want to do a thing like that?
You don't like her?
You don't like her?
I can't stand those sappy books she writes. And seeing as I said as much during an interview on national TV once, it's a pretty safe bet she doesn't like me.
Have you talked to John Gray?
Have you talked to John Gray?
The ghost guy? Total quack. Only reason I'd talk to him would be to arrest him for fraud.
Hope I didn't take up too much of your time.
Hope I didn't take up too much of your time.
Anything for a fellow detective.
So that's in the same thing. So
Wonder what Jake used this for.
I don't think we can take that right now.
Another gemstone.
We can't take it yet. I'm sure we can though. What do we have? Periodic table. I used to learn this in 8th grade physical science class. There was like a song, but I forgot about it. I forgot my periodic table elements. So, Camille with Haga, Anderson, and Shanley Hildegard. Is that German? Gemstones and how to identify them. Gemstones and Ruxford and Millhouse. Gemstones include any number of crystalline rocks, which can cut and polish, can be used as jewelry. Their commercial value usually depends on how rare they are. Although beauty is entirely a factor as well, because gemstones are more oftentimes than not found by accident. It behooves miners, prospectors, and even farmers to be able to recognize them, for the earth holds many natural treasures, but only for those who know what to look for. Quartz. Quartz is one of the most abundant minerals on Earth. Crystalline quartz is a composite of 6-sided prisms which have grown together in a process called twinning. Sometimes the crystals grow at right angles to each other, but more frequently two crystals grow from a common prism face, or several crystals grow from each other so that the corner of one penetrates the face of another. Amethyst is crystalline quartz that is a little lilac to deep purple in color. The deeper the color, the more valuable it is. Citrine, a form of quartz that is a rich golden color, is closely related to amethyst. In fact, if amethyst is heated to 550 degrees centigrade, it becomes citrine, for the heat eliminates the impurity that causes purple coloration. Tiger's eye is a fibrous type of crystalline quartz in which thin yellowish and reddish-brown bands are apparent when light reflects off its polished surface. Diamond is pure carbon and is formed deep in the mantle of the earth, where extreme temperatures more than 1,000 degrees centigrade and extreme pressure 50,000 times greater than on the earth's surface take its crystal extremely compact and strongly bonded, hence diamonds' well-known hardness. Due to their hardness, low-quality diamonds have many industrial uses, such as for grinding wheels and drill bits. Magma. We have olivine, garnet, and zircon. Magma brings diamond crystals to Earth's surface, along many other rocks of the mantle. These kimberlite pipes often contain olivine, peridot, garnet, and zircon, as well as diamonds. When gem hunters spot any of the indicator minerals pictured below, they would do well to search the surrounding area for diamond crystals. Tourmaline comes in so many colors that it probably has one of its has at one time or another been confused with all the other stones in this book. However, tourmaline crystals are deeply and distinctively striated, grouped, prismatic, and triangular in cross sections. The most common color is black, but some tourmaline crystals are multicolored, such as watermelon tourmaline, which is pink on the inside and green on the inside. That's cool. Beryl is a more diverse mineral with several gemstone varieties. Common beryl is an opaque, milky green, while its rare gem varieties are transparent. All varieties form long, hexagonal, prismatic crystals, which are similar to tourmaline crystals, but lack tourmaline's characteristic are striations. Aquamarine, this was nice, is a blue-green, a deep blue variety of beryl, which most gemstones form relatively small crystals. Aquamarine has been known to form crystals weighing more than 100 pounds, although such specimens are rare. Emerald is a deep green variety of beryl, which gets its color from trace amounts of chromium. Emerald gemstones tend to contain extraneous matter. Indeed, the source of a stone can sometimes be pinpointed by examining its impurities or inclusions. Garnet, another good one, is a relatively common gemstone. Because garnets often appear in their host rocks as almost perfectly faceted crystals. They have attracted human attention for centuries, and like other gemstones, garnet forces relatively spherical crystals that are generally reddish in color and look somewhat like pomegranate seeds. Pyrope. Garnet crystals are deep red. They form the Earth's mantle and are brought to the Earth's surface in such the same way as diamond crystals. Therefore, finding pyrope increases the likelihood, but it's a guarantee that diamond can be found in the vicinity. Peridot is the most well-known form of olivine. Its bright apple green crystals are thick and vertically striated, with wedge-shaped terminations and an oily luster. Most peridots are found amid basalt rocks, which have been brought to their surface by lava, and corundum, or aluminum oxide, is second in hardness only to diamonds and is a core component of the black magnetic rock known as emery, has been mined and used for thousands of years as an abrasive. Its crystals are commonly six-sided and barrel-shaped with tapering ends and are when pure, colorless. Rubies, nice, are when the two gem variations of corundum. Rubies are a deep red and are formed due to chromium substitutes for aluminum as corundum crystallizes. Sapphires, includes all the other color variations of corundum, and may be pink, yellow, green, blue, or colorless, depending on which transitional elements, such as iron and titanium, influence the crystallization process. However, cornflower blue sapphires are by far the most sought after. Zircon, that is gemstone quality rivals diamond in its beauty and brilliance, though not in hardness. Zircon crystals are typically prismatic with pyramidal ends and are usually found as singular specimens. They may be suspended in rock, or because they're dense and durable, small grain-like crystals are often found in beach plaster deposits. Natural gemstones are usually reddish-brown, but when subjected to heat, they turn yellow, colorless, or blue. And that's all. Okay.
Looks like an old-fashioned cigar box. Wonder why it's locked. And what does AG mean?
I have no idea. Let's look at this again. Iron Fe. Okay. We need more information on this or something.
J.H. For Jake Hurley, obviously. Must be Jake's insignia.
Weeping lizard. Let's look at this globe.
Another gemstone.
We can't take them. Oh, there's this.
Eliza Sandberger.
Camille called this one Eliza Sandberger. Received of Jake Hurley for the price of $3.73. One Krollmeister doll with decorative red ribbon on their 16th day of June, 1880. Is that these right dates? I guess so. Okay. Let's try and figure this out. And they all have to be moved though. Okay, well, this part looks right.
There, all done.
Great, I don't know what that's for. But let's go this way.
An old scale. Strange. It seems to be built into the wall. Those symbols look like the ones I saw in that sampler.
Oh, I got these already. Let's see.
That square and that duck look very familiar.
Square in the duck. Oh, those out of that. Okay, so we gotta find more of those. I don't know what this is. Let's look at this. These little drawers. Another slug. I don't know what they're called. Slugs. They could be chips. Who knows?
Silver. What do all those colors have to do with silver?
Silver is orange, blue, green, red, purple, yellow. I think it might be a gemstone. What's under here?
Looks like to make this thing, whatever it is, I'm going to need a spyglass, a pickaxe, and a lamp. Citrine, amethyst, zircon. Those are all gemstones, I think.
Okay. Did we pick it up? We did. College geez, Camille. Burst comes in front. Wait. Person to your side of some of the big fella doll crack, which now traverses. That's really not. I don't know what it says. I'm sure it's tiny skull. Is it talking about the doll, that the doll's face was cracked? Okay, let's look at this big ass room.
Wonder what's supposed to go here.
No. If I remember correctly, there was supposed to be a pickaxe, like, somewhere up here. I don't know what this was, I forgot what that was, but I know there was somewhere in a backpack. I've played this before, but, yeah.
Looks like I need to enter 8 letters into this thing. The question is, which 8 letters?
Okay, let's do this. This is easy. We have to figure out which one it is. It's random each time. I guess you can do this memory puzzle. Remember which ones. Oops. There we go. Let's see what's on the other side.
Lori?
Oh my gosh! I never thought you'd be the one to find me. No offense. Nadine?
Nancy. Nancy Drew.
Well, as you can see, I wasn't really spirited away by ghosts or anything. That bookshelf in the dining car, you step on this thing in the floor in there, and it slides open. I practiced disappearing for weeks.
So it's all just for show.
So it was just all for show?
Well, not entirely. See, here's the deal. My dad wound up with this train when he bought out Noram Shipping. They'd been storing it in this old warehouse outside St. Louis for so long that everybody had just forgotten about it. Anyway, after like mass begging on my part, Dad had the train restored to working condition and got me an engineer and track permits and all that other stuff until finally, here we are, on our way to find out what happened to Jake Hurley.
I think we're gonna explain why you kidnapped yourself.
I think you were going to explain why you kidnapped yourself.
Oh, right. Well, see, I was one of the first people in like 100 years to set foot on this train, okay? Everything was just the way it was when Jake disappeared. Except I also found this. It's a letter that Jake wrote in 1901 to his niece back east. He was real paranoid about claim jumpers, which is why he never told anyone where his mine was. But he was also afraid something would happen to him and no one would ever know where it was. So he wrote this letter to his only living relative, Ruth Kensington. Here, take it.
You want me to have it? Why?
Because you found me. See, in that letter, Jake tells Ruth that everything she needs to figure out where his mine is on this train. He also warns her that his wife's spirit is on the train too, which kind of creeps me out. But the thing is, to find Jake's lost mine, we need the train.
How do you know this Ruth person didn't find the mine decades ago?
Mostly because I found that letter in the wastebasket. It was like she'd gotten so ticked off, trying to follow her nutty uncle's clues, that she finally said to heck with the whole thing.
So you want me to try to figure out where the mine is?
So you want me to try to figure out where the mine is?
Uh-huh. As for the other people on board, If you want to show them that letter, go ahead. It's totally up to you. We're going to Copper Gorge because that's where Jake buried Camille, so I figured his mine might be somewhere around there too. But if you think we need to go somewhere else, you just let me know and I'll have the engineer take us there.
How come you didn't try to find the mine yourself?
How come you didn't try to find the mine yourself?
Maybe I did. Or maybe I just thought letting other people try to find it would be a good excuse to throw a party. I like parties.
How well do you know your guests?
How well do you know your guests?
Well, I don't know you or those Harvey guys at all.
Hardy. Frank and Joe Hardy.
Whatever. I didn't know John Gray before this either, but I love his show, and I figured he'd jump at the chance to investigate an honest-to-goodness haunted train, and now that someone has finally found me, I can finally go meet him for real.
What about Tino Balducci?
What about Tino Balducci?
I met Tino right after he got famous for solving those robberies. Inviting him here for this was a no-brainer. I mean, what an awesome detective. And those piercing eyes of his, you just know his mind's in there going 90 miles an hour.
How well do you know Charlene Purcell?
How well do you know Charlene Purcell?
I just know her from her books, which are so good. In fact, I just started reading her latest one, The Moon Tells No Lies. See, what I'd really like to do is write romance novels. Everybody who knows me says I'd be really good at it. In fact, a while back, I sent Charlene some ideas, you know, just to see what she thought.
And?
She hated them.
Bye.
I'll be waiting.
Okay, girl, whatever you say, girl, whatever. I'll be waiting.
Locked, naturally. Wonder how you open it.
We'll have to do that later.
Wonder how you're supposed to get this open.
I don't know. We'll have to figure that out soon, Nancy.
I can use this to open that grate I saw in Camille's car.
Okay. That's it? Okay. Oh no, this is like a word search if I remember correctly.
Looks like a dance floor, maybe?
Let me read this.
The 3rd of November, 1901, from somewhere in Colorado. Dear Ruth, I know that we've never met, but now that your father, my estranged brother, is gone, you are my only living relative. I am writing to you to tell you about my mine before I, too, depart this earth, and its location is lost forever. I cannot tell you outright where it is, lest this epistle fall into the wrong hands, but with the information which follows, and with my train, which shall be yours upon my death, I promise that you'll be able to find it. First, you will need a map. To obtain it, know that my travels have taken me all over this great country, to towns which can be difficult to find, to Calico, Silverado, and Central City, to Dodge City, Virginia City, and Tombstone. To locate the mine on the map, you'll need my projector. When it comes to placing the stones, you'll need to ask someone who holds a warm place in my heart. I have stored his name accordingly, but to retrieve his name, you'll have to give the dolls an order. This will require looking inside Camille's dancing shoes for the name of their maker, and wearing the shoes as you perform her favorite step on the dance floor. As for my beloved Camille, she has 4 words for you, words which, when translated into numbers and used in combination, will help power my projector. But alas, she's taken them with her to her grave. So go to Copper Gorge, Colorado, and pay your respects, and let some of her goodness rub off on you. I promised Camille that this train would always be her home. In return, she promised to never leave, and indeed she never has. People say I'm crazy, but I've seen her, and heard her, and feel her presence on the train even today, 20 years after her untimely death. So above all else, my dear niece, let nothing happen to my train. It holds wonderful things. Kindest regards, Jake Hurley.
Okay.
Darn, the name of the shoes is so faded I can't tell what it is. Maybe Bess and George can help me figure out who made them.
Let's call him.
Hello?
Hi, Bess.
Hey, what's going on?
Lori gave me a letter that Jake Hurley wrote to his niece telling her how to find his gold mine.
Lori gave me a letter that Jake Hurley wrote to his niece, telling her how to find his gold mine.
If Lori knows where the mine is, why doesn't she just make a beeline for it?
Because apparently Jake was too paranoid to tell his niece outright where it was. So he filled the letter with all these weird, obscure clues. I don't think Lori could make heads or tails of them. I know I barely can.
Sounds like when he lost his wife, Jake may have lost a few marbles as well.
The name of the company that made Jake's wife's dancing shoes is too faded to read, but to find Jake's mine, I need to know what it is.
The name of the company that made Jake's wife's dancing shoes is too faded to read. But to find Jake's mine, I need to know what it is.
Hey, I know what you can do. Take a picture of them with your cell phone, then send it to us, and we'll check them out for you.
But I thought you guys had to paint Bess's room.
Boring. Besides, we're going to have to take a break soon because we're almost out of paint. Probably because Bess has gotten more on me than she has on the walls. Anyway, send us a picture of the shoes via cell phone and we'll get right on it.
Oh, you guys are the greatest.
I know. Need anything else?
I get the definitive feeling Lori Gerard is a thing for Tino Balducci.
I get the definite feeling Lori Gerard has a thing for Tino Balducci.
I saw him on TV once. He is very cute.
Lori thinks he's the world's greatest detective.
And you don't?
I think he thinks he is.
I think the only reason he's famous is because he looks good on camera. Well, I think you two are being way too hard on him. Just because he's good looking doesn't mean he can't also be smart. In fact, maybe Balducci tries to look incompetent on purpose. You know, to give the bad guys a false sense of security so it's easier to catch them. Ever think of that? No, Bess, I never did. Well, there you go.
Catch you later.
We'll be right here.
Okay, let's use camera. Oh, I don't know the pattern yet.
That must be the projector Jake mentioned in his letter to Ruth.
Well, let's go back. Let's go back to the research.
I wonder if this has something to do with that list of cities Jake mentioned in his letter to Ruth.
Okay. The words count right here. So the first one is calico. Silverado. It's not really a word search. Oops. Central City. Dodge City. Virginia City. Now it should.
Guess I'm done. Strange. All that's left is a jumble of letters.
I remember how to do that. So, she just said that there was a projector that Jake's letter mentioned to Ruth. Look at this. So that was part of the crosswords. So if you remember, it was
Jake's mine must be somewhere on this map,
We gotta
but
pinpoint.
where?
Make the projector function, so he likes steam power and policeman. I think there were jewels involved, so let's go back to Jake's car and talk to Tino Balducci.
Well, it's the little lady detective. What do you need?
I found Lori. She was hiding in the caboose.
Oh, yeah?
She disappeared because she wanted to see who'd find her first, which is why she left that clue behind.
She disappeared because she wanted to see who'd find her first, which is why she left that clue behind.
That slug? I mean, I knew that slug was a clue. That's why I gave it to you. I mean, I could have found Lori no sweat, but I thought, hey, why not give somebody else a shot? And you came through. Nice job.
Thank you.
But look, from now on, if you come across anything that may have something to do with Jake Hurley in his mind, let me know, okay? Just so I can, give you advice, help you sort things out. After all, the opportunity to work side by side with a world-famous police detective doesn't come along every day,
How did you and Lori meet?
How did you and Lori meet?
We met at a party in New York. Nice girl. Not a lot upstairs, but nice girl.
She seems to have a thing for your eyes.
She seems to have a thing for your eyes.
Yeah, she always told me they were... I mean, she told me once that she thought they were very, brown.
What do you think happened to Jake Hurley?
What do you think happened to Jake Hurley?
He probably died trying to work that mine of his all by himself. But I'll let you in on a secret.
What did he
I'm
find?
onto something that could crack this case wide open.
The way you said that.
What did you find?
Sorry, can't go into detail. Let's just say that thanks to yours truly, what happened to Jake Hurley won't be a mystery much longer.
Do you think I could take a closer look at that cougar statue?
Do you think I could take a closer look at that cougar statue?
What, that cigar clipper? Go ahead, take a look.
I'll bet I need this stone to build that thing in the diagram I found. But if I remove it now, Tino will know I'm onto something. Interesting. I just wanted to get a good look at it, that's all.
What else can I do for you?
Hope it didn't take up too much of your time.
Hope I didn't take up too much of your time.
Not a problem.
Okay. So this is reset. There was something I had to do with this. It was from that letter. So if you remember this, let me go back just to show you. Or refresh. So there's this like thing. So and I believe it said silver's orange, blue. It's orange, blue, green, red, purple, yellow. That's the order it has to be in. So let's go back and do that.
Wilson Carbide and Acetylene Works.
Okay. This is in Marytown, Ontario. September 7th, 1897. Dear Jake, I've sent you 2 lamps which you should receive by the end of the month. When you get them, simply place carbide in the lower chamber, water in the upper chamber, then use a built-in flint lighter to ignite the jet of gas, which results, as you'll see, the carbide lamp is an exceedingly practical device, especially for people in your dark and dangerous line of work. I can't believe I'm carrying this wall of cursive. Without that, you or I hadn't invented it. In your last letter, you sounded quite despondent, old chum. I suppose this is understandable in view of your failure to strike it rich. But I am living proof of how quickly misfortune can turn to good fortune. Little did I suspect 5 years ago that my attempt to produce aluminum would instead produce calcium carbide, or that calcium carbide, when placed in water, would release acetylene. Yet suddenly, I was the surprised but happy owner of the patent for an inexpensive way of manufacturing extremely flammable gas. Just as I became wealthy, when I sold that patent, I have no doubt that you too will someday be
Always your friend, Thomas Wilson.
handsomely rewarded for your efforts. Continue to keep me appraised of your adventures, dear friend. Never ever give up. May the lamps I sent you soon light your way the goal you seek. Always your friend, Thomas Wilson.
Looks like a pattern for some kind of dance step. Maybe I'd better keep this.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take this. We'll do that. It's when the gem works. Let's go to the dance floor. I usually write my name, so for that. Okay. So let's look at the steps. We start here, we go this way. This way. Actually, we start here. Start here, and then we go from there, 4. Oh shoot, I'm gonna have to figure it out. Okay, so they won't allow me to do that, so let me see. That way, that way, that way, that way, and that way. Okay. There we go. Gem, the watermelon gem.
Guess Camille liked to collect dolls.
So, these are the dolls. It's supposed to be, I believe, the doll shoemaker, which I don't know who it is. So let me get the answer. answer from Bess. Let's see if she's got anything yet.
Hello?
Me again. Just checking to see whether you were able to find out the name of those dancing shoes yet.
Your wish is our command. But hang on to your hat. The name is a real mouthful.
Let me read
The
this.
shoes were made by Chaussette Chateauyan. Chaussettetes. Chatoyantes. That's French for shimmering socks. Apparently, if you were into dancing in the 1870s, that was the company to get your shoes from.
Chaussette Chateauyan. Got it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for letting us help.
Hold on. Okay. I discovered this cabinet full of old dolls in the caboose.
I discovered this cabinet full of old dolls in the caboose.
Old dolls make my skin crawl. Whose
Right.
were they?
They belonged to Jake's wife, Camille. Jake mentioned them in his letter to his niece.
They could have been Jake's, you know. I mean, they never had a child of their own, right? So maybe after Camille died, he went a little bonkers. Oh, Bess. Hey, I'm just trying to think outside the box here, okay? Something it wouldn't hurt you to do from time to time, little Miss No Imagination. You know, maybe I'll just put this paintbrush down, walk out that door, and let you do this all by yourself. No! You've got to keep painting. If I don't get this done by tomorrow, I'll be grounded for a month. I was just kidding about your imagination. It's wonderful. You're wonderful. Very, very wonderful. That's more like it.
Tino Balducci definitely has a thing for Lori Gerard.
Tino Balducci definitely has a thing for Lori Gerard.
So there's some kind of mutual attraction thing going on between them?
Something's going on between them. I'm not really sure what.
Well, find out. I mean, that's a mystery worth pursuing. To heck with this Jake Hurley stuff. You'd give up the possibility of finding gold for gossip, Bess? For gossip this good? Oh, yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Okay. Well, George, back to work.
Okay. So basically gotta move these so they spell out Chaussette, whatever she said. So like these are all based off their ordered, if I remember correctly, based on the description on like what they're wearing. And I think their names. Not sure. So let's go. It'll unlock this for us. Let's go look around things again. These are all from item things around the car. So let's start with Jake's car.
Camille with Hager Anderson and Chantilly Hildegard.
It's this one, so that's the first one, I believe. CH. So we'll put that one. First one. Remember, she's wearing a full skirt. Awful Ursula. That's gonna be the AU. So Shaw. I just got red hair. This is Sickly Sarah. So SS. So we got CHAUSS. Green and blue eyes. They all have unique features to them.
is that?
Hey, girl. I'm just gonna stand still. It's fine. This is another one. Edna the Terrible. So, E.T. There's this car box. Teddy Everhard. That's E-T-E. Plaid kit.
Hey, Nancy,
What's with the Cheshire Cat grin?
you found Lori.
Yep, she's holed up in the caboose, and as a reward for finding her, she let me have this. It's a letter from Jake to his niece in which he leaves clues telling her how to find his mine. Only the clues are extremely obtuse.
You found Lori, you got the letter with all the clues. Guess you don't need us anymore.
Oh, Joe, quit pouting. Want any help?
Are you kidding? You bet I do.
Now you're talking.
Balducci wants me to share everything I find out about Jake Hurley with him.
Balducci wants me to share everything I find out about Jake Hurley with him.
I'll bet he does.
He just doesn't want you to show him up again.
Yeah, he wants you to do all the legwork so at the last minute, bam, he can swoop in and grab all the credit.
I wouldn't tell him a thing,
That's what
Nance.
I agree.
Unless it's to get lost.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's kind of full of himself, but he's not really smart of him. It stands to reason that the only person other than Jake who would have known the location of Jake's mine was the engineer on Jake's train.
It stands to reason that the only person other than Jake who had to have known the location of Jake's mine was the engineer on Jake's train.
Very true.
Not necessarily. Jake might not have told him the exact location. Maybe he just had him drop him off somewhere nearby.
Well, still, we'd be way ahead of the game if we knew where that drop-off point was.
If the engineer had any surviving relatives, we may be in luck.
If the engineer had any surviving relatives, we may be in luck.
The guy died more than 100 years ago. How are we supposed to find out his name?
Maybe Charlene What's-Her-Face could tell us how to go about it.
Good idea, Frank. I'll ask her.
I found a diagram for some kind of contraption that Jake designed, but to operate it you need a pickaxe and some kind of lamp or lantern, which it looks like he gave to somebody named Buell.
I found a diagram for some kind of contraption that Jake designed, but to operate it you need his pickaxe and some kind of lamp or lantern, which it looks like he gave to somebody named Buell.
Buell? Joe, show her!
Show her what?
That old picture we found!
Okay.
We found this on the bookshelf. See? Buell's Supplies and Pawn Shop. That's gotta be the same Buell Jake gave his axe and lantern to.
Yeah, 100 years ago. And the guy was a pawnbroker, Frank. The stuff's probably long gone.
Or maybe it's still somewhere in Copper Gorge.
Well, that's where we're headed, so let's just hope for the best.
Right.
Talk to you later.
If you need anything, just let us know.
Okay, I came here to look at the shoes. I think they were Sadie Crawford, so that's SC. And then the other one was a picture with Camille. Hager Anderson says AJ. The hair ribbon. Thomas O'Neill. Thomasine.
I hear you found our hostess. Congratulations.
The others on the train, John Gray and that police detective, do you know them very well?
The others on the train, John Gray and that police detective, do you know them very well?
I don't know them at all. Needless to say, I don't watch television, so I've never even seen Mr. Gray before. Although I do know that his profession, if you can call it that, is rife with crackpots. As for Mr. Balducci, from what I've read, his success in solving those robberies was less a matter of talent and more a matter of being in the right place at precisely the right time.
In other words, you don't think he deserves all the attention he's getting?
In other words, you don't think he deserves all the attention he's getting?
No. You and those two Boy Scouts you're with would make better detectives.
Thanks.
Is that all, dear?
Would you like to see the letter that Lori gave me as a reward for finding her?
Would you like to see the letter that Lori gave me as a reward for finding her?
The one in which Jake Hurley supposedly tells his niece how to find his lost mine? No, thank you. I happily leave it to you to try to solve the mystery of his disappearance. You can afford to look foolish, dear. I can't.
Do you know that Lori wants to be a romance novelist?
Did you know that Lori wants to be a romance novelist?
Doesn't everyone?
Do you think she could do it?
Do you think she could do it?
No. Could we please talk about something a little more pleasant?
How would I go about finding out the name of Jake's train engineer?
How would I go about finding out the name of Jake's train engineer?
If you're smart, you'd ask me. And because my work is going surprisingly well, during my next break, I'll log on to my archives at home and see what I can turn up.
That'd be great, thank you.
Whoever invented the cellular modem, that's whom you should thank, dear.
Aren't you even going to try finding out what happened to Jake Hurley?
Aren't you even going to try finding out what happened to Jake Hurley?
No time. The only reason I haven't insisted that Lori release me from all this silliness is there's always the possibility that what happened to him has the makings of a bestseller. Although I highly doubt it.
Why are you so sure that Jake's story wouldn't make a bestseller?
Why are you so sure that Jake's story wouldn't make a bestseller?
His story is an all too common one. A man wanders off into the desert in search of gold and never returns. Why? He either doesn't have enough food or water, or he encounters hostile natives.
But why was his train found out in the middle of nowhere with just a dead engineer on board?
But why was his train found out in the middle of nowhere with just the dead engineer on board?
That does make the story a little more interesting. My guess is the engineer got tired of waiting for Jake to return, took off in the train to get help, and died of a heart attack along the way, after which the train rolled to a stop in Blue Moon Canyon. Anyone experienced enough to single-handedly run a steam engine would have been quite a bit older than Jake.
What do you think happened to Camille?
What do you think happened to Camille?
She probably died of something mundane like pneumonia or even measles. Now, if it was wintertime when she died, and they were in the mountains, Jake no doubt kept her body on the train for months before he buried her, which is rather delicious in a morbid sort of way.
I'll touch bases with you later.
That would be nice.
I need to find two more names, because we're almost at the end. Last name. And there's 11 dolls, too. The names of... Naughty Tina. So, NT. Now I need to find an ES. Eliza Sandberger. Okay. What did I get? Okay, so now we gotta put the dolls in order.
Whoa! Somebody must have thrown the emergency brake.
The question is, did somebody throw the brake? Or something.
Oh, Joe, now you sound like Lori.
Hey, I was the first one on the scene, and I saw no one.
Who was the next person on the scene?
Who was the next person on the scene?
John Gray. Then Balducci came bursting through one door while Frank and the engineer came through the other. Boy, was that guy ticked. He said the train could have derailed. He reset the brake, muttered a few choice words, then headed back to the engine just as you and Lori showed up.
Everybody was there except Charlene. I don't think she left her laptop the whole time.
Do you think she could have thrown the brake and snuck back to her laptop without your seeing her?
Do you think she could have thrown the brake and snuck back to her laptop without your seeing her?
Not likely, but possible, I guess.
The question is, why? What did she or anybody else stand to gain by stopping the train?
Answer? Nothing. Which is why I think we should at least consider the possibility that something less human in nature may be at work here.
Ah, Joe.
I'm going to see if Balducci's done dusting for fingerprints. Catch you later.
Okay. So I gotta go back. Let's talk to Balducci first.
Glad you dropped in. Lori told me she'd given you a letter from Jake Hurley that says how to find his mine.
I didn't mention it before because it's very bizarre.
I didn't mention it before because it's very bizarre.
Lori should have given that to me. I mean, I'm the trained professional around here. Let me take a look.
He's not even-
I've seen enough. 2 words. Useless. Those are just the rantings of a
right.
guy who spent way too much of his life swirling mud around in pans under the hot sun. 5-star nut job.
Lori said she found this letter in a wastebasket.
Lori says she found this letter in a wastebasket.
Exactly where it belongs.
Did you find any fingerprints on the emergency brake handle?
Did you find any fingerprints on the emergency brake handle?
None that were any help, thanks to Casey Jones up there. I told the old geezer not to touch anything, but he went and got his big, fat, oily paw prints all over the place. If we didn't need him to drive the train, I'd charge him with obstruction of justice.
Did you do anything else besides looking for fingerprints?
Did you do anything else besides look for fingerprints?
Of course. As a matter of fact, I found this. Probably fell out of the perp's pocket while he was yanking on the handle.
Looks like some kind of thermometer.
Yeah, like the kind a certain ghost hunter uses on that bogus show of his.
You think John Gray threw the brake? But why would he do that?
Because they're thinking about axing his show, that's why. I checked with this buddy of mine in L.A. Gray's got to come up with something real big real soon, or he's toast. And you can't get much bigger than a train with a spooky past that's prone to strange accidents, now can you?
Have you confronted John with your suspicions?
Have you confronted John with your suspicions?
All in due time. I always like to get my ducks in a row before I make an arrest.
You're gonna arrest him?
You're going to arrest him?
Hey, the train could have derailed. We're talking reckless endangerment, attempted assaults, maybe even attempted murder. John Gray wanted publicity. That's exactly what I'm gonna give
It's
him.
been great
It's been great talking to you.
Helping people is what I'm all about.
You're Delulu. Okay. And full of yourself, which is very red flaggish. It's giving red flag. It's giving... Oh, it's all about me. It's all about the show. It's not the town, don't you know? No, you're not. Tino, no, you're not. Okay, let's do the doll thing like we were gonna do originally. So this one's right. The next one was Awful Ursula. And she had the red hair. Let's put her there. Next was Sickly Sarah, which was green, had green and blue eyes. Next was Enid the Terrible.
Mama!
It's gonna be that one. The other one's the one with the plaid kilt. Sadie Crawford. She was barefooted. Hager. There's only 2 boys, so that's Hager. That's Teddy. This one's Miss O'Neill. Her hair is disarranged. Yawning Alice. Naughty Tina had the cracked head and got 2 slugs. I love this so much. I love art like this. It's like a little antique thing. Very pretty, very pretty. I love that so much. So pretty. I love antiques, don't you? Let's get out of here. Actually, wait, let's talk to Lori. Real quick.
Yes?
I hear that Tino and you used to be an item.
I hear that Tino and you used to be an item.
How did you know that?
I'm a good detective, remember?
I'm a good detective, remember?
We went out a couple of times, yeah. As for why we stopped going out, you'd have to ask him.
Do you have any idea through the emergency brake?
Do you have any idea who threw the emergency brake?
I know exactly who did it.
You do?
You do?
Well, who else could it be? Camille.
Oh,
None of
you're
us has any
too.
reason to stop the train but Camille. She doesn't want us to find Jake's mine, so she's going to do whatever she can to keep its location a secret.
She is dead, you know.
She is dead, you know.
Well, duh. That's why I know it's her. What's more, your friend, that Jim Harley guy?
Not Jim, Joe Hardy.
Yeah, well, he thinks it's Camille, too. He just doesn't have the guts to say so.
Guess I better get to work.
Guess I better get to work.
You go, girl.
You go, girl. Okay, girl. We're gonna do that scale thing. I believe the duck thing, the little stove thing was the next one. So let's... Those there. To be right. There we go.
There. With any luck, I just opened the stove in the dining car.
Now let's go to the stove.
More questions?
Do you have a theory as to who pulled the emergency brake?
Do you have a theory as to who pulled the emergency brake?
Well, I know it wasn't me. I assume it wasn't you, and I highly doubt it was Lori. So that leaves those 2 friends of yours, Mr. Gray and Mr. Balducci.
What do you think their motive was?
What do you think their motive was?
I don't know about your friends, but perhaps those other two simply thought it would be fun. Boys will be boys.
Don't start that crap. Were you able to find the name of Jake's train engineer?
Were you able to find the name of Jake's train engineer?
I came across 3 references to the fact that Jake had an engineer, but I'm afraid none of them included his name. I failed. Sorry.
I should get going.
That would be nice.
Let's talk to them.
Nancy, you missed it.
Missed what?
The argument of the century.
Joe, he's exaggerating.
Aw, come on, you heard them. They were ready to tear each other to shreds.
Who?
Charlene and Lori.
All we heard was the tail end of it, and unfortunately, we really couldn't make out what they were saying.
So you don't know what they were arguing about?
No.
But whatever it was, both of them were absolutely out of their minds, livid.
And it would probably be a good idea to find out why.
Let me look into it. I'll talk to you later, okay?
You know where to find us.
James Thurston.
I hereby agree to pay James Thurston $79 a week plus your board and return of his service as an engineer in training. Jake Hurley, May 2030. So, okay, well, I got that down. Okay, there should be a button here.
This must be how Lori disappeared.
Can I go there? Or no?
More questions?
What were you and Lori arguing about earlier today?
What were you and Lori arguing about earlier today?
Lori and I? We weren't arguing. We were simply discussing a topic about which both of us are passionate, that's all.
You weren't angry?
You weren't angry?
No. And even if we were, that's really none of your business. I know that sounds
you're
harsh,
right.
but really, Nancy, eavesdropping is so
It was actually the
tacky.
Hardy Boys.
Actually, it was Frank and Joe Hardy who overheard you. They said I should talk to you before they gave me all the gory details, but since you obviously don't want to tell me your side of the story, I'll just have to get the scoop from them.
No, you don't have to do that. A storyline that Lori submitted to me found its way into my last book, despite the fact that she never received compensation for it. She's reading the book now, and when she got to that part, she freaked.
You stole one of her ideas?
You stole one of her ideas?
She had no business sending me unsolicited material. But technically, yes. Now, legally, she can't prove anything, and I'm certainly not about to admit anything. And it's not as if she needs the money. But that's what we were arguing about. For what it's worth, I'm going to talk to this producer I know to see if he'll cast Lori in his next movie. It'll help ease my conscience, and who knows? She could wind up being a star. I mean, she is blonde.
Wow. I'll let you get back to your writing.
I'll let you get back to your writing.
That would be nice.
Engineer,
Hi, I'm Nancy Drew. I talked to you before, very briefly.
you're not the one who pulled the emergency brake, are ya?
No.
Good. Because if you were, I'd have to come back there and throttle you. Old as this train is, it's a wonder it stayed on the tracks.
So you have no idea who threw the brake?
So you have no idea who threw the brake?
Like I just said. If I did, I'd be back there tanning their hide. Now, if you don't mind, I gotta get back to work.
Okay. Just talk to Frank and Joe Hardy again.
Hey, how's it going?
I think I know the name of Jake Hurley's engineer, James Thurston.
I think I know the name of Jake Hurley's engineer, James Thurston.
Great! What else do you know about him?
Well, nothing.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, finding out more about him will give us something to do. We'll look into it.
Tino found one of John Gray's thermometers by the emergency brake handle and is getting ready to throw the book at him.
Tino found one of John Gray's thermometers by the emergency brake handle and is getting ready to throw the book at him.
John Gray threw the emergency brake? Why would he do that?
Tino thinks he did it to hype the ghost factor and make it sound like he was onto something big so the cable company won't cancel his show.
Tino thinks he did it to hype the ghost factor and make it sound like he was onto something big so the cable company won't cancel his show.
I still say there's less to all this than meets the eye, if you get my drift.
I get your drift, Joe. I have lived with your drift for years. I am saddled with your drift.
All right, all right.
See you soon.
Sounds good.
Okay. Stuff to Charlene.
More questions?
No.
I'll let you get back to your writing.
All right, then.
Let's take this now. Ruth Kensington, age 64. We have
That tool I saw in the caboose. I bet that's what you use to unscrew these bolts.
Okay. Maybe that's wrong. Okay. Let's do. I'll be facing this. That'll move by itself.
More pipes to connect.
Okay. It's fine. Oh, they switch around. Which is okay.
Here we go.
Oh, and it was pretty easy.
What's up?
Okay, after I talk to him, this will be the end of part 1. I found Lori safe and sound in the caboose, so I guess those vibes you got about her being in serious trouble were wrong.
I found Lori safe and sound in the caboose, so I guess those vibes you got about her being in serious trouble were wrong.
Strange. My vibes are never wrong. What's even stranger is I'm still getting them. So maybe they're not about Lori. Maybe they're about you.
Me? I'm not in any trouble.
Me? I'm not in any trouble.
Trust me. Either you or Lori is, or soon will be, in big trouble.
Could you be more specific?
Could you be more specific?
Unfortunately, no.
So are you making any progress in here?
Sir, you making any progress in here?
Oh yeah, not only am I getting some real unusual EMRs, that's electromagnetic readings, but take a look at this.
You've got something?
You've got something?
I set up a camera and took some time-lapse photos. Sometimes I was in the room, sometimes I wasn't, but somewhere along the line, I managed to get a shot of Camille.
Where? You don't mean that little blob, do you?
Yep, that's Camille.
Okay.
You're skeptical. That's cool. Just remember, the key word when it comes to ghostly phenomena is energy. That blob is the result of Camille's residual life force, spirit if you will, reacting with the chemicals in the photographic paper.
Couldn't it just be a flaw in the photographic paper?
Okay, it could be that too, but it's not. Trust me.
Are we by any chance missing a small digital thermometer?
Are you by any chance missing a small digital thermometer?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I am. When I went through the box I'd packed them in, that one over there, I came up one short. I was hoping to set up at least 6 in here so I could check for cold spots. How did you know I was missing one?
Because Tino Balducci found it by the emergency brake handle when he was dusting it for fingerprints, and now he thinks you're the one who pulled it.
That's ridiculous. I didn't have any reason to pull the emergency brake.
Is it true that your show's in danger of being canceled?
Is it true that your show is in danger of being canceled?
Newsflash, my show was canceled. Happened last night. But what nobody knows yet is that it's been picked up by a major TV network. Not only am I still on the air, but I'm sitting prettier than ever. Any other questions?
Were you in the room the whole time prior to the emergency brake thing?
Were you in this room the whole time prior to that emergency brake thing?
Of course not. I made a couple of trips to my compartment in the sleeping car to get more equipment. But did I get an overpowering urge to pull the emergency brake while I was there? No.
I saw a bunch of weird glowing lights outside the window of the sleeping car.
I saw a bunch of weird glowing lights outside the window of the sleeping car.
Really?
You're not?
Actually, I'm not surprised.
You're not?
You're not?
They're probably some form of piezoelectricity. See, my guess is quartz crystals in the ground are being compressed as the train passes over them, and the resulting voltage, called piezoelectricity, is manifesting itself as glowing lights, probably because of some quirk in the train shape or in the composition of the metals used in its construction. It was custom built, remember?
So it's a natural phenomenon, not a ghostly one?
So it's a natural phenomenon, not a ghostly one?
Take it from me. Old Mother Nature was capable of some pretty scary stuff.
I'll let you get back to work.
I'll let you get back to work.
Pleasure talking to you.
Thanks. Okay, we're not gonna end here yet. So there's some packaging stuff here like we saw last time. Let's go see Tony Balducci.
That looks just like the stuff John Gray has his thermometers packed in.
What's going on?
How come you told me you and Lori never went out, and she told me you did?
How come you told me you and Lori never went out, and she told me you did?
Don't you ever stop asking questions?
When people start answering them, honestly, I do.
When people start answering them honestly, I do.
I dumped her, okay? I'm not proud of what I did. I'm not happy about what I did, but it's done. It's over. Now let's drop it.
If you didn't want to dump her, why did you?
If you didn't want to dump her, why did you?
You are incredibly irritating, you know that? I dumped her because people said going out with her would make me look bad. Said she was a joke, that no one took her seriously. Said if I started hanging with her, no one would take me seriously. So I stopped calling.
But you didn't stop caring.
But you didn't stop caring.
No. Now take a powder. I don't feel like talking anymore.
Okay. We don't want to talk right now, but let's go see Joe and Frank Hardy.
Hey, how's it going?
Were you able to find anything about Jake's engineer, that James Thurston guy?
Were you able to find anything out about Jake's engineer, that James Thurston guy?
Good news and bad news. The good news is he had a wife in Copper Gorge, so he may have had children.
The bad news is our internet service provider stopped providing before we could use our cell phones to find out anything else.
That's okay. We can do more checking when we get to Copper Gorge.
Right.
And we're here at Copper Gorge. We'll end it here, actually. After this cutscene is done. Copper Gorge. Okay. So I'm gonna save here. Let's see if we can save. Yes. Well, this has been part 1 of Nancy Drew, the 13th game. Last Train at Blue Moon Canyon, 2005. Part 2 will be next. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Bye.